I just found something that caught my attention and I want to share. Okay, so in the Hopi language, there's a word and it's pronounced katsi. And it's spelled Qatsi. And it means life out of balance. And the 3 Hopi prophecies, warnings or eschatology. If we dig precious things from the land, we will invite disaster. And it also says, near the day of purification, there will be cobwebs spun back and forth in the sky. Now, I always think about, and I've said it before in readings that I've done when I talk about Mother Earth, how her diamonds were stolen from her. And many other resources, because the earth is very resourceful. But not everything is supposed to be taken. What if the diamonds and all of the minerals are what sustains her? Like, right, how we need vitamins and minerals with the foods that we eat or through the foods that we eat. Are the minerals, the diamonds, and all of the stones that are in the ground, are they a representation of Earth's vitamins and minerals, like how we need vitamins and minerals? And then thinking about all of the disasters that happen around the world when it comes to like tsunamis and wildfires and blizzards, like freak storms, and is it possible that these things are due to the earth being robbed, Mother Earth being robbed so much for the benefit of those who stole from her? And then this part made me think about what exactly cobwebs are. Here it says, near the day of purification, there will be cobwebs spun back and forth in the sky. Could those be the chemtrails that they're referring to, cobwebs? Or maybe like the smoke from buildings and the emissions from cars? Cobwebs in the sky? The indigenous ones didn't know of this way of life, so they would always equate what they see in the Western world as something that they know in their own world, because they see world from a natural perspective. So I remember listening to a video a while back, and they mentioned that there will be stone rivers, and they were actually referring to the highways and the roadways and the freeways, but they called them stone rivers. They always, the way they can only explain from what they know. So being that they were a holistic people, they would always use these figurative ways to speak of the Western world. But the only way they knew to express it was in a natural way. So they called the highways stone rivers. And when I heard that, it like tickled my ears, you know, just because it really shows how pure they were. I'm going to say they are, okay? So I just wanted to share that. So now, after I read that, it made me want to search up what does digging resources from the earth actually do to our environment. So this is what I found. Digging for resources like minerals or fossil fuels can significantly impact the environment. These impacts include habitat destruction, water and soil pollution, and climate change. The extraction process also releases greenhouse gases and can disrupt ecosystems. Habitat destruction and ecosystem disruption. Deforestation. Mining often requires clearing forests, which destroys habitats for wildlife and impacts biodiversity. And you know, the deforestation actually is going to have an effect on our air quality, just because we need trees to breathe oxygen. Trees emit oxygen for us to be able to breathe well. So the more deforestation, the worse our breathing conditions will be. Okay, the next one is land disturbance. Excavation and mining activities alter landforms, disrupting ecosystems and leading to loss of natural habitats. Excavation and mining activities alter landforms. It's just manipulating the earth and impacting the effect of it, or like the security of the earth, by always tampering with it. Okay, water body impacts. Mining can alter water flow patterns, contaminate waterways, and harm aquatic life. You remember a few years back when so many aquatic animals just washed up on the beach? I remember that. That was some years back, but it kept happening. And it may have happened again somewhat recently, but I just remember some years back, many animals, aquatic life was just washed up on the shore, and it was a whole bunch of them, and it would always be a large amount at one time. Okay, pollution and contamination. Water pollution. Mining operations can release chemicals, heavy metals, and pollutants into water sources, contaminating both surface and groundwater. Soil contamination. Mining processes can leave behind toxic wastes, contaminate soil, and reduce its fertility. So with that being said, this explains why, well, somewhat, it kind of explains why they've been creating the food in the labs now. Because being that they've been mining so much for the resources to sell it back to society to gain a profit from it. Again, it always reverts back to money. It's affecting the ground so much, it's affecting the soil, because the soil is now contaminated and it's no longer fertile. So that means it's not going to be able to grow healthy foods. So being that they plan on continuing to dig, so they're like, okay, we need to find another way to make food. So let's just go whip up some fake food in a lab, right? You see? You know, I always thought about how the earth is always robbed of her jewels and her goodness, that I just feel is there because it's supposed to be there. But the Hopi Prophecy has led me to look deeper. That was just something that I always felt. Like, you're not supposed to be taking all that out of there. Maybe the things that we can, like, utilize, like coffee beans. Do coffee beans come from the ground, don't they? Let me look that up real quick. I believe they do. But whatever comes from the ground that's edible, I feel like it's okay. But when it comes to other things such as minerals and the fossil fuels, that is needed. I believe that is, the earth needs that. And our spirit is saying that the fossil fuels are in correlation with the volcanoes somehow, and I don't know how. I'm just channeling. They just said that, so I'm just repeating what I heard. Okay, what was I about to look up? Oh, coffee. Coffee. Wait. 1 minute. Hey. Okay. Okay, so coffee beans come from the coffee plant, so it still must grow from the ground. So if the mining the minerals and the fossil fuels from the ground affects the soil and contaminates it, it's going to affect the purity of the food source that we have. Society's food source is contaminated, so that's why it has to be. That's why they have started to formulate foods in the lab. Okay, air pollution, mining and transportation of resources release particulate. Oh, what? Wait, hold on. Let me read that again. Air pollution, mining and transportation of resources release particulate matter gases and dust into the atmosphere, contributing to air pollution and respiratory problems. The emissions, that's what I was talking about before. And I think when the Hopi mentioned the cobwebs in the sky, let me read that part again. It says, near the day of purification, there will be cobwebs spun back and forth in the sky. And when you think about a puff of smoke, from their perspective, remember they express themselves from a holistic point of view. So they're always going to relate the ways or what they see in the Western world to something that they know. So the emissions or the air pollution with the puff of smoke, the best way for them to express that, I think, is what they meant by the cobwebs. It just makes sense to me. And it says back and forth in the sky. When you see emissions, from cars, smoke, when there's like a lot of smoke coming from a car or from like a factory, I would think that they are referring to the smoke that pollutes the sky. Greenhouse gas emissions. Mining, especially fossil fuel extraction, releases significant amounts of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, contributing to climate change. Energy consumption. The energy-intensive nature of mining and processing resources further exacerbate climate change. And the other impacts, it shows erosion. Digging can lead to soil erosion, particularly in areas like unstable slopes or poor vegetation cover. Sinkhole formation. Mining can destabilize underground structures, leading to sinkhole formation. Seismic activity. In some cases, mining can trigger seismic activity. And then the social impact, it says, community displacement. Mining can displace local communities and disrupt their traditional livelihoods, which is very true. Health impacts, well, all of this is true. Health impacts. Exposure to pollutants from mining can have adverse health effects on both workers and nearby residents. So due to the resource extraction, that is the effect. So the resource extraction is the cause, and the effect is destruction, habitat destruction, soil pollution, and climate change. I remember when I was in my first year of college, and one of the things that we had to talk about was between, it was just something that had to do with environment, and I chose to speak about climate change But this is one aspect of climate change that I didn't include in my work. But it's just making me think about that. And how we see the weather change so much. And so now I know that that has a lot to do with the extraction of the Earth's minerals and fossil fuels. And that is a fact that was also included in the Hopi Prophecy. So I just wanted to share that really quickly because I found that interesting, especially the way they express is very poetic, very it's like artful. It's like an artist speaking, and I tend to speak that way, you know. And so again, I see myself in these peaceful people. Do you see yourself in them? Do you care about these things? Do these things bother you? When you see how many people have like heart conditions and breathing problems and asthma. They're just so vulnerable. And it's always, the first ones that are most vulnerable are children and the elderly. But yeah, I just found that important for us to know and just think about when it comes to like the extraction of minerals and fossil fuels and what it really does to our environment. And we're stewards. We're supposed to be taking care of our environment. And yet those who are driven by greed, they continue to place monetary gains above beautiful souls, peaceful people that don't want no problems, just trying to live. But here we are. So that's what I wanted to share. If you would like to add anything to this message or just express yourself, go right ahead and write on our wall of thoughts whatever you would like, okay? And yeah, even if it makes you think about something that like coincides with the message that you would find would be helpful for people to just know. Okay? All right. Everything you do, do it with love. And I think that's it for now. If you need anything from me, visit my website. I have my book available for pre-order. So I'm gonna put it right here. Sparkly. I'm gonna make it sparkly and it's gonna pop up and be sparkly. And what my book is about is really about our connection to the wholeness of ourself and the true nature of our ancestors and the purity within the magic of our hearts, like what we're actually able to do. Like, we are so beautiful. We're such a beautiful people, and we forgot about that because everything externally tells you that you're ugly and you need something. You need something that you don't need. Just buy it. If you just buy this, now you're not ugly no more. You see, this is what they tell you, but this is just a joke. It's just a big joke. So they could say, "Give me your money." Anytime they see you, they're like, oh. For pre-order, okay? It's going to drop on May 24th, but you could purchase it now and you will receive the book by email on May 24th. I also have other books that are currently available for purchase. So if you would like to purchase them, you can go to www.milkhoneyRose.org. If you would like to purchase a coaching call, or if you would like to purchase a reading, you can also do that on my website. I put the label of the readings as honey readings, and you will see this face there on the default picture. So you know that that is where you purchase a reading if you are interested. Okay? And the email or the reading is going to be emailed to you. Okay? Much love to you. I'll see you in the next message.